good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
I just want to take a little bit time for us to review, reflect on this our journey together, and I want to ask you a few questions.
Sure. Yep, sounds
Awesome.
good.
Okay, so when you first started coaching with me, and what were you challenged with that made you consider coaching?
Yeah, so we found each other through, a nonprofit organization that I was on the board or I am on the board for. And it was it was a women empowerment organization. And as a minority female, it was always something that, I wanted to surround myself with, with very strong women who had have great aspirations and great ambitions. And I know that I, always aim to be, someone who can, achieve certain things and show my kids that women are just as powerful as men and can do tremendous things. And, and the time when I found you, Coco, was really a time where I didn't feel like I had that ability. And, we all go through ebbs and flows in our career. And, at that point, my career took a very hard pivot where, I was laid off from my position and, something that I, as an immigrant, was hit very hard with, in terms of really understanding my value as an employee, as a person, as a mom, as a wife, as a career woman. So when I had asked, the executive director of that nonprofit for help, she gave me a whole list of probably 10 to 15 women coaches, and I went through all of them. I went through the entire profile, and I came across yours, Coco, and it was that like immediate click of like, I need to talk to Coco. And I think it was you shared very similar ambitions of wanting to excel in your career, but then also was very centered in how you approach things. And it was more than just, your career and you as, as an employee, but it was more of like, who are you as a person and how do you center yourself? And then on top of that, obviously our backgrounds and our childhood are very similar. And I immediately, it was just this, like, it just made sense for me to work with you. So yeah, so that's where I really came across and decided to come to you for help during that time.
Mm, wow, thank you for choosing me. And
Or
so throughout the past 6 months ish, and what did you enjoy most about the coaching experience with me?
yeah, it's interesting because I think about I've throughout my career I've realized that we need, especially as women, right? We need a certain number of people to help us along the way for us to be successful. And, my foundation has always been my family, and my husband and my children and my parents, my sister. But then I realized that in order for me to really thrive and, grow and expand further beyond what, is today, I needed a whole nother set of help. And in that, were mentors, sponsors, and then I never really thought about coaches, right? It was this realization of like, okay, so I've talked to therapists, I've talked to friends, and but then I was like, I'm at a point where I'm at a very hard pivot in my career, and I need to really look in the mirror and see who I am, what I want, and what does this next phase look like, right? And I think what really made me realize is an executive coach and someone who can really coach you through that process is just as important as the foundation that I have in my family and my personal life. And it was an experience that I've never actually gotten from anywhere else because mentors, especially in corporate America, mentors are one thing, but it's that focused attention of really being able to dig deep in who I am as a person, but then also where do I want to go? And having that non-bias of, and when you talk to someone in corporate, it's like, well, have you talked to this person or that department or, oh, this is what you want to do. I have an answer for you, and I think in talking with you, Coco, it was very much like I came to a lot of the answers myself. You gave me that space to dig deep, and also to pause, right? And I think it was those moments of pausing and the way that you're able to listen and then be able to reflect is something that I've even a therapist to some extent was not it didn't fully do the same if it or have the same impact as what in our coaching session. So I think that's what I've enjoyed the most because after each session I come out of it and it's like, oh my goodness, she's right. Like it's and it kind of stays with me until we meet again, right? And I think that's the most special part about, working with you, Coco.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Beautifully said. I think it's almost feels like a container. So I create this container for you to have self-reflection,
Yeah.
right, and self-discovery, and ultimately tap into your own agency
Yeah,
to
exactly.
find your own solution.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a skill set in and of itself, right? Because it's, as a human being, it's very easy to be like, "Oh, this is your solution," or "This is your problem, and this is what you should do." But instead, you gave me the space to just allow me to get to that myself. And I know there's still so much more work to do, but it gave me that sense of empowerment that it's like, oh no, if I can figure it out myself. I don't need somebody to tell me what the solution is. I can do it with my own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that you experienced a transformation in front of my eyes, but I want you to share like what's in your own words, what's better in your both personal and professional life now.
Yeah, now that it's at the end of the year, I've taken some time to reflect on that, right? And I think even with my closest friends and seeing them and them even seeing the transformation, and every year we meet and it's, this time last year before you and I met, I was a very different person, and this time last week when I saw the same set of friends, they were like, what you've been able to accomplish in a year is just mind blowing, and it's so I think the biggest thing is the foundation that I have with my family and my personal life and everything that really matters, right, in this life is how much love you're able to give someone and what you are able to receive in return, right? And I've learned in this past year that that foundation is so incredibly strong. And it's even stronger than it has ever been. And, my husband and I have been married for over 10 years now. And, and I've found this new, like solid footing, with him and with us as a family unit that I've never experienced, in the entire time that we've known each other. And I think on a personal front, for me, it's I need to make sure that that is my number one priority and will always be in that way, right? And then from a career perspective, I gave myself the chance in this past year to really understand like what am I supposed to do next, right? And I think allowing me to see the fact that whatever happened to me in corporate America was not really my fault and it doesn't really determine my value. And from there, I realized that, yeah, I was only stuck in that thinking because of a certain reason, right? And you and I have talked through so many of that and you've actually, helped me understand that all of it is not like the reason I'm feeling this way is because of X, Y, and Z. And therefore, I can change that mindset into something so much different, so much better, and then be able to see it as this is my opportunity. Not only did I survive it, but all the things that I've gotten myself into after that shift in mindset has allowed me to thrive, um, which is what I'm doing now, right? And I think, the life that I have now professionally is 10 times more than I could have ever dreamed of after, I got kicked out of the nest, and one of my mentors said to me, I had to get kicked out of the nest to fly. I would never just jump, right? I had to get kicked out. And I think our sessions, Coco, really allowed me to, like, once I did get kicked, allow me to spread my wings and fully be able to understand how do I fly in this kind of environment. And now it's personally and professionally, I think one of the best years I've ever had. So thank you for that, Coco.
Oh, wow. I feel, it was so beautiful to hear that. I love the analogy you use. The bird get kicked out of the nest and then really forced to learn how to fly. And then you are soaring, you're not just flying, you're soaring both
Yeah.
in your personal and professional life. It's just so beautiful for me to witness and be
Thank
part of.
thank you.
And next, it is what would you tell someone who is considering coaching with me?
Yeah, I think, it's something that like I was mentioning before, it's something that you don't really think about, right? Unless you experience it. And I think, having gone through multiple sessions with therapists before, having had a very strong mentor, friend, family community, I really think that the executive coaching and the career coaching is something that is just adds another layer for any professional or any individual who's looking for help in that way, right? And I also think what's different about you, Coco, and special about you is the way that you approach it. Is very different than anybody I've ever really in a professional environment talked to. And I think it really comes back to that space and allowing for self-reflection in every session that we have together. And even this past one, right? Like, and I know the question you always ask me, so what do we want to work on today? Right? Or what do you think we should focus on today? And I sometimes come in prepared. I'm like, okay, Coco, I really need your help here. But even the other day, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I've accomplished so much and I feel like I've grown so much. I was like, I actually don't know. And then what was interesting was 15 minutes in, I was like, oh, wait, I need help here. And it just redirected another layer of growth that it uncovered something that I didn't even really realize that I needed. And ever since our session, Coco, I'm like, it's been in the back of my mind since we talked, right? And I'm realizing that that is my next phase of growth, and that and I think it's just opportunities like that that the time that we get together and have together, Coco, is allows me to uncover things that I never thought was there, and things that I needed to work on, um, which I'm not able to get from anybody else. So I think that's what makes you special, and your ability to draw that out. From every time we talk is just it's fascinating because I don't know how you do it, but we always get to that point where it's like, oh my goodness, you're right. Like that is the next thing. And then it stays with me until we talk again. So that's
Hmm.
so special, Coco.
Wow, wow. And also, I really want to commend you as well because you, first of all, you just show up. You show up every time, and with your openness, with your vulnerability, and then you really trust me, and then you trust the process, and then you trust yourself, and because also you do the work. You do the work, right? Just like after our conversation, it stays with you, and then you reflect, and then you do the inner work on your own, and the next time when you come, you know you are a level deeper already. And then that's why we're able to go deeper and deeper because you are taking the effort to go there.
Yeah.
Because some of the work is not easy, right? It's not always easy, not always fun. It's always rewarding afterwards, but the work itself.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard, right? Because it touches on so much, so many things that you tried to hide for so long, and then
Hmm.
then uncovering that is like, oh my goodness, those are the cobwebs, the things that I've shoved under
Exactly.
the rug and put in the back of the closet.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah. That shows you're courageous. You're courageous to face those truths and those realities.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Okay, lastly, anything else you would like to share?
I think if anybody is wondering, if they should talk to you or get help from a career executive coaching perspective, just give it a shot, just try it. And if it's for you or if it's not for you, then at least you tried it. Um and I think having that constant desire to wanting to learn and wanting to grow, I think having that appetite and that curiosity to see how you as an individual and as a person, as a professional, as a parent, or anything. I think that curiosity is so important in how we expand and how we grow ourselves. And yes, it's incredibly vulnerable, and it is incredibly hard, but once we do get to the other side, which I still have so much more work to do, but I know once I get there that it will be like I'll just look back at the journey, and it will be one of the most rewarding, like time well spent, work well done, type of moments. And I'll reflect back on that too. Yeah.
Mm. Wow, beautifully said. Thank you so much,
Thank
Linda. Really appreciate that.